This is the truth about the Dallas Mavericks. Over the years, there's been some glaring issues with this team that no one has really realized. Today, we're going to look at the present and the future of this team. Y'all get an idea of what I'm talking about. So make sure to do all that weird stuff all your favorite creators tell you to do down in the description down below, because it'll help the channel out a lot, man. Hit the like button, press that little bell thing you see down below. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this video.
Expect from what Woj has told us that Luka will be on his way to Dallas in the heir apparent as franchise cornerstone after Dirk Nowitzki.
This is when the Dallas Mavericks franchise changed. It flipped upside down because they just got their golden boy, their cornerstone, their next franchise player. And Mavericks fans didn't know that until Luka started going crazy in his first year, dropping 21, 8, and 6 in 72 games played that season. He went on to win Rookie of the Year, and the Mavericks went on to the draft lottery. But a key thing to think about is they did not have their draft pick this year because they traded it in the trade to get Luka Doncic during that 2018 draft where they flipped Trae Young. And this will prove to be key down the road.
The New York Knicks, they're going to trade Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Courtney Lee to the Mavericks for Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and a first-round pick.
This was a move that affected this team just as much as them drafting Luka, and I'll explain why. But going into the 2019 season, Luka and Kristaps were slated to be one of the best duos in the NBA. Luka just went into straight demon mode, bro. I thought he was taking PEDs for a little bit. But he averaged about 29 points per game, 9.5 rebounds a game, and about 9 assists a game, while adding a steal every single night. And Kristaps proved something that was very disappointing to a lot of fans who liked him and this Mavericks team over the years. And that was not play bad, that was be injury prone. After Kristaps came back from that torn ACL, Mark Cuban and them who traded for Kristaps thought, this is a new start. Kristaps is healthy, he's ready to play, and then we saw the lingering issues throughout the year. Last year, he played 57 games, missing about 20 to 25 because it wasn't exactly 82 because of the whole bubble thing. So in those 32 minutes he played that year, he put up 20.4 points per game on okay shooting and 10 rebounds. And now we come to this year. Mavericks have a mid-draft pick. They're 18 and 16 at the All-Star break. And it seems like a repetitive deja vu effect. Now, you guys just heard from me what the Mavericks have gone through the past couple of years. And remember when I was talking about Kristaps Porzingis having the same effect as Luka coming to the Mavericks? The main reason of that was money, salary cap. And this is what I mean. Most NBA teams can afford 2 max contracts and then have good mid-solid role players, and that's how it's been throughout the NBA, besides teams like the Nets as exceptions. Los Angeles Lakers, AD, LeBron, 2 max players, and then good solid role players for cheap. Los Angeles Clippers, same scenario, Paul George, Kawhi, role players for cheap. They're all very similar scenarios. And then we have the Mavericks who acquire Kristaps Porzingis on a very long-term deal for about $31 million over 4 years. Then they go out and draft Luka Doncic. And I'm going to assure you, when Luka is up for his extension, he'll be making about $57 trillion.
What did he say?
So there you go. You have Luka and Kristaps as your 2 max players, and then things get bad. Over the years, you didn't really hear me mention a lot of other players besides Luka and Kristaps. And why? And that's because over the years, they've never had another playmaker, another scorer, another player who can stand out and lead a unit. Their supporting cast is not good at all. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been the guy for this team over the past 3 years, besides the 2 studs that we already know about. And Tim Hardaway Jr. is a consistent 15 to 16 point per game scorer who will get you a couple rebounds and an assist. He's like a worse Jordan Clarkson. And then you're like, okay, I want a player like that on my team. I would too, you know, a role player who can put up 16 points per game to you for cheap. Yeah, well, that's where you went wrong. He's not cheap. He's $18 million. This team is poorly constructed. Tim Hardaway Jr. is proven to be the same player and won't do anything else for you on the court. And then you're like, okay, I bet you they have more variety in their supporting cast. Well, they traded Seth Curry for Josh Richardson, who has been nothing but a worse Tim Hardaway Jr. Backup point guard who's been playing starting minutes has been Jalen Brunson, who's been nothing but mid. Maxi Kleber has been nothing but mid. Boban has just been Boban. And then you got James Johnson, who's an old role player. And then you got Trey Burke, who's just going to be Trey Burke. And then you got Dorian Finney-Smith, who's another role player. And you got young G League second-round picks. So, you have 2 max contracts to 2 max players. One of your max contracts go to someone in Kristaps Porzingis. There's a future Luka Doncic, an injury-prone Kristaps Porzingis who is nothing like his New York days, and a bunch of mid-tier role players sound like a team that will prosper. And this is the thing about this team that no one wants to mention. When you have 2 max contracts for 2 long-term deals, you're not going to have any sort of movement or space. The Mavericks won't have any cap space after they give Luka Jeff Bezos' salary. So their two max players will be Kristaps and Luka with mid-tier players, and they won't have any room to move. They'll be in a situation where they'll be doing the same thing every year while other teams are getting better and we're already better. Their roster construction is poor as of now, and in the future it'll get worse and worse and worse due to salary cap, and that'll make it harder for the Mavericks to make movement around the league and get better as a team. They're going to be a mid-tier 6-7 seed with this current team, and they're going to have this current team for a while. Kristaps Porzingis is under wraps till the 2024-2025 season. And in that season, he'll be making $36 million along with Luka, who'll be making about $40 million. Luka's probably going to sign a 5-year contract, which will put him under wraps till about 2026-2027. They're not going to have any room to move in the next couple years, and that started with the trade for Kristaps Porzingis. Now, you may look at that trade and say, oh my god, they won that trade. That may be what you think on a player standpoint, because yeah, Kristaps Porzingis turned out to be way better than the pieces the Knicks got back in return. But if you look at it on a future standpoint, the Knicks won this trade as they got off $31 million Kristaps Porzingis. And now look at the Knicks. They're 4th in the East, and the Mavericks are a mid-tier team in the West. Get ready for this Mavericks team to look the same for about 4 to 5 years because they have nothing to do. And with Luka and Kristaps, they're inevitably going to be in the playoffs, in the 6-7 seed. But they're never going to be able to make any noise because of all the better teams in this league and all the minimal roster construction and roster movement they can make. You want your two max contracts to be two players who you know can win you championships, and they have one of those players, but the other one can't do that. I want to take a look at the Los Angeles Clippers. As you can see, I'm a Laker fan. I hate the Clippers with my heart. If you look at their supporting cast compared to the Mavericks supporting cast, you can see they have veteran 19-point per game scorers like Lou Williams. They have players like Marcus Morris. They have players like Serge Ibaka. They have players like Patrick Beverley who provide what you need on a championship team. The Mavericks don't have that. Patrick Beverley provides that grit, that hustle, that defensive tenacity that every championship team needs. The Lakers have that with Dennis Schroeder. Then had that with Spencer Dinwiddie before he went down. But every championship team has a player like that. Mavericks have no player like that. And if you're saying, oh, the Lakers didn't win a championship last year, those players for us were Alex Caruso, Danny Green, KCP, players like that. Let alone the Clippers' 2 stars are miles ahead of the Mavericks' 2 stars. So Clippers are constructed the same way as the Mavericks, are just an overall better team, and they did better things with what they had. So I'm just going to tell you the Mavericks are going to be a mid-tier team for the next 4 years. So get ready for that, and there's nothing they can do unless they somehow trade Kristaps Porzingis for a bunch of little tiny pieces. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. I just wanted to go over that situation when it comes to the Mavericks because it's something that needed to be talked about because no one was really talking about it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to do all that good stuff in the comments down below and hit that subscribe button if you trust me to upload again.